Good afternoon, YouTube. It's me, all the way, George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Bodybuilding Talk, coming to you live on YouTube. Well, it's gonna have to be me today. I just got a message from my partner Jared. He has some stuff to do it up, and this is gonna be, I will say, the last Muscle Talk Monday for 2021. This is going to be the last one, and I've done it before solo, and it's fun to do solo. But as you know, the bodybuilding season is at its end, for this year, and it should start up next year. But for women's bodybuilding, it's going to be a while. We're not going to see a lot of shows coming up until I think around about May. Now, if you follow bodybuilding or anything about it, the schedule for the season is pretty. I saw they posted on NBC on News Online the schedule for the upcoming bodybuilding season. Now, before there was a controversy where certain I was sure that certain shows going to happen, because I thought, I jumped the gun a little bit. I mean, honestly, I jumped the gun, and I wasn't sure that certain shows going to happen. But there's been some changes and some reboots. Most notably, out the gate, it's been a month ago when they had the Toronto Pro. And Toronto Pro is going to start, next year. It's going to be, also there's a show, the Vancouver will also have women's bodybuilding. I think she have the, most definitely. And it's a very list. It's I think it's quite a few. It's where I see it, other than maybe a couple additions. And some changes, is pretty much almost about the same for women's bodybuilding for this season. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to bring up this is the calendar season for 2022 for the IFB Pro season, and if you follow my channel, I think it's be a great idea for you to, if you're a fan of women's bodybuilding or just a fan of bodybuilding in general. If you want to maybe plan opportunity to go to the shows, I will show you what's going to be going on, the dates and the time. Let's see slides. And let's see. It's a pretty good list by this year. Now, let's see. Now, here we go. Now, this is just the list of many shows going on, but like I said, I'm going to focus more on women's bodybuilding. For the men, the list is extensive. Men's bodybuilding always going to have a lineup. And here we have the women's bodybuilding seasons. Wing Your Strength, conduct most of the shows. And we're also, Jake Wood and Tim Gardner, they support bodybuilding. Tim Gardner is a promoter. He has had the last few years had female bodybuilding attached to his shows. And we don't know what's going on right now. We have that Omicron variant coming in, but I feel like maybe by that early May, the variant will probably drop off a little bit. I know people are concerned about some shows, possibly getting canceled or whatever. But it's really, it's just it's really up to what's going to go on. If I hope there's no cancellations, especially with this new variant popping up. So anyway, I'm going to start here with the first show for the season. It's the 2022 IB Pro League Vancouver Island Showdown Women's Bodybuilding. So Canada is going to have another show for women's bodybuilding, and the thing is, I think it's going to be tough for some women. As you know, they did Toronto Pro, and there was a small lineup. The big problem with some women were concerned because the fact is Canada has guidelines and restrictions. You have to be, vaccinated. You must have proof of vaccination. You must have a negative PCR test, meaning if you leave there, we go to come to Canada, you have to have proof that you don't have the virus, and you have the proof when you leave. So, And this show's in Vancouver, British Columbia, and that's like the upper part of Canada. It's kind of still Canada per se, but those people, they don't connect themselves much as Canada, but they are Canadians. It's kind of like how people from Wales not are don't call themselves British, but they are British citizens. Now, next up here, also we have is the Indy Pro, so Indianapolis Pro, and this show, just as I did a video about this. They just added the female bodybuilding to it. I think it was just men's open. I think men 212, and I think it was bikini. And by miracle, thanks to Dave Bars, who is the promoter of this show, that they added women's bodybuilding, and this is going to be on the 5th or the 14th of May. It's great. There's another show. Some of these ladies will have more stages to perform on, extra stage. At least this is 2 new stages for men's bodybuilding. That's great. At one point I was concerned there wasn't going to be any more. Then we have here the New York Pro. There was some doubts, and I kind of jumped the gun on it, but there was some doubts that the New York Pro wasn't going to have women's bodybuilding, but it's going to have it. This is Steve Weinberg, who is the husband of Bev Francis. Bev and Steve have been doing the New York Pro for so many years. And it's a great opportunity. New York Pro was a great show, but back around about, I think, 2012, 2013, Bev and Steve kindly put a knife behind female bodybuilder's back and stabbed him in the heart. But they were able to bring him back in 2020. Both women's bodybuilding and women's physique was off the stage for a good while. But after 2020, they brought them both back. And, the show is going to be the 5th or the 21st. Congratulations. These are some early shows. I think I would love to do a show in April. It'd be probably a great opportunity, but Then you had Toronto Pro, which was just had just about in November. And this is a great opportunity. It's a chance for competitors. But like I said, you go into Canada, you're gonna have to be, as I said again, have to be tested. I think some competitors, they want to do the show, but some don't want to go through. Some have issues with the vaccine. Others don't feel like it's worth their time. But generally, I think this is a great show to take an opportunity, especially you want no qualification. Especially there's women like Mona Porcel, who lives in Canada. I think that'd be a great show for her. Just when she gets started. Robert Tribute Hellis, he's missing out of action. A lady who just competed the last show, Lisa Kudry. My dear friend Tana Hugh. I mean, if some more of the Canada female bodybuilders, step up this show, I think it'd be a great show. And also some American women, get yourself vaccinated. This might be a chance to maybe, earn qualification or get enough points for the Olympia for the next year. Then here we have is another show, which is the Omaha Pro, and that's in Nebraska. And as the Omaha is one of, not I would say one of the biggest shows, but maybe one, I would say a popular show. It's a show back in 2020. The two-time Miss Olympia champion Andrea Shaw earned her opportunity to compete at the Olympia and also win the Olympia. So I think this is going to be a great opportunity for anybody who wants to take this. I would say don't miss out. Compete at this show. Also, we have the Puerto Rico Pro. Now, it looks like it's going to be back in San Juan, Puerto Rico. As you know, this year they had it in the Bahamas because of the restrictions that was going on with the virus, and they had to move it to the Bahamas. And as you know, I did a video about how there was only like I think 3 women in the show. Then people like Stacey Nunez and Heather Foster and I think Margita Zamavoa, they stepped up. And Nydia Capacero, she won that show, which earned her qualification for the Olympia. People like Jessica Martin and Kim Buck has won that show. And I think this is a great opportunity for any competitor. And those out of the country. It's in Puerto Rico. Remember, Puerto Rico is part of the United States, but I think they still have some guidelines for people traveling into Puerto Rico. But it's still a part of U.S. territory. Next up, we have the Big Man Evolution Women's Bodybuilding that is overseas. So, I would, hoping that more basically is a Portugal Pro. It's just, it's also go by, and hope this, some women who are overseas can compete this show. As you know, this year, Anastasia Levanova won the show. I think there's some women who are, across the ocean who love to get an opportunity to make to the Olympia, and this show is a great way for them to do it. So that's best of luck for them. Then we have the Linda Murray Atlanta Pro show. Now, it used to be, I think, was the Linda Murray Norfolk Pro, but now they moved from Virginia to Georgia. And, and as you know, there's another show in Georgia. It's also Savannah Pro. And, this show, I think, it's a debuting show. One time I was hearing that Linda was going to do like at least 3 shows. She had Norfolk, she had Savannah, and it was possibly one in Detroit. But my guess, she decided to close the show in Norfolk, Virginia, and moved it to Georgia and do the show in Atlanta. Now we have here is the Chicago Pro, and Chicago Pro is going to be back in Chicago. I know one of my favorite ladies who I'm done interview with, one Miss Rochelle Boswell. I think she loves this. This is back close to home for her. She won't have to go all the way to Atlanta to do the show, so she can do it in her own backyard. That saved her a ticket. And Chicago Pro is one of the bigger shows. This is a show where, who is it? Who won that show? Sheila Olick won that show, and she, that got her also qualification for the Miss Olympia. And one lady who was at that show, Monique Jones, who I follow, she won Best Pose of that show. I hope to see Monique again. I think she's a beautiful woman, great, proud Cuban woman, great female body, but great mother, great nurse. So this is a show I think this is a good chance for maybe Washana or any other female bodybuilders that live in the Illinois area, that's close to Illinois, to get a qualification or points for the Olympia. Here we have another bigger show. It's Tampa Bay Pro. Now, Tampa Bay is the same like Chicago. It's a show where you get a lot more points, especially if you make the top 5 in qualification, and then you earn your qualification by winning shows. Mona Porcella, she won her qualification at this show. Heather Henderson, who competed at the Omaha Pro in the amateur part of the show because of Pro Am, this was her first show she competed as a pro. She did a couple of shows. She did the Omaha where she won at the Midwest amateurs, and she did earn her pro card at the USA's and competed at this show. Maybe we might see Heather this show. I don't know. It's a great show. It was also the debut of Julia Fleury, who switched from women's physique to women's bodybuilding, and also my dear ladies who I'm very fond of, Miss Tina S. Williams and Jana Beverly competed this show. And also, this is a great show. It's been around. It's probably one of the few shows that still can support women's bodybuilding. And it's a Tim Gardner show, both Chicago and the Tampa Tim Gardner shows. Now we have Savannah Pro. Now, it debuted back in 2020. A show that Linda created. They had it in Georgia, Savannah, Georgia. And also, this show was, I think, Asha Hadley earned her qualification in 2020 at this show. And then Rosanna Boswell earned her qualification for this year. And it's up to who's going to compete this show. There's a lot of competitors that live close to Georgia and the Atlanta area and Savannah that would love to get an opportunity to earn a pro card. Now, in November, and it used to be in September, but they pushed it to November, is now the Rising Phoenix. As you know, I have a thing with Rising Phoenix. I think the Rising Phoenix should be a qualification for the Olympia. As you know, last year and this year, Andrew Shaw won both the shows, and this year's show was kind of there's some competitors that dropped out because of travel issues. And also, I think also there was a show where they didn't have the Miss International champion. As you know, Miss International champion, that's the champion that earned her pro card at Chicago Pro. Then gets a free ride to compete at the Rising Phoenix World Championship. Sandra Herwin, who won the Chicago Pro, the women's pro qualifier, did compete this year. That's surprising. That's the first time you didn't have a Miss International compete. Like people like Susan Jacobs, Tina S. Williams, Una. I guess I'm not gonna say just say Una. And also Betty and Patty Hansen have been Miss International champions. Then you have the Europa Women's Bodybuilding Championship. And, that's a show that's been going on. It's done in Spain over in Europe. This year, they had two people who qualify for Olympia this show. That was Margarita Zamolova, who was leading on points originally, and then Salva Mate. And this time, this show is going to be pushed back also to it's going to be like a day after the Rising Phoenix. So that means that qualification is going to be for next year's Olympia, for 2023 Olympia, because usually you have these shows. You want to get these shows before the Olympia. And here we have is the Romanian Muscle Fest, which is a baby of the great Miss Lena Popa. Lena's from Romania, and like this is a Tim Gardner show. The Rising Phoenix also Tim Gardner's show. I thought it was just Tim Gardner's a busy guy. And this show is going to be on the November the 12th to the 13th. It's going to be in Bucharest, Romania. And and Tim and Lena are working together, because this is, like I said, Lena's from Romania. So this is a good help to Nadia Kapasova this year earned her second qualification for the Olympia by winning this show. Mala Ash competed the show. She took third. Now, here we have is one last show is the Big Man Pro Women's Bodybuilding Show. And it's sponsored by Emilio Martinez. And it's going to be the 11th of the 27th. It's going to be by the end of November for this show. So it's the Big Man Show. I done a video about this. It was like I think it was 6 competitors this year. But maybe if more women, especially women bodybuilders who live overseas, have an opportunity, they should go do the show. I know one thing, if maybe by the end of 2022, the restrictions will lift, and I think some competitors should do that show too here in the States, because the opportunity maybe to earn qualification for 2023 Olympia. Now, the Olympia itself, if I can find it, because I think it's supposed to be in the men's division, because it should be. Let's see, right here somewhere. It's just I don't know how to do it. They have to. I think it should be like a show on its own. Now, one thing I don't know if they're going to have the FBIO next year. The Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic, as Arnold is no longer supports women bodybuilding, that even any form, shape, that includes the women's physique, but he still has women's figure. Let's see, but let me see. I'll probably have to check and see where I can find that. But from the information I know, the Olympia weekend is going to be, I think, in December, basically like it was last year, in December. But this time it's being moved back to hey, that's AJ from Female Bodybuilding Channel. Yeah. We're not in 1 year buffering, and that's all before the Olympia in December. Yes, and Miss Olympia from 15th to the 18th. Thank you, AJ. Yes, I appreciate it. If it's AJ, JB, one of you, I appreciate it, because the Miss Olympia, the Olympia weekend is going to be from the 15th to the 18th, and they're going to move it back to he'll move it back to Las Vegas. But I'm telling the truth, I think they should have kept it in Orlando. There's some ladies who I talked to, who compete that they liked it better in Orlando. They say the venues was better, and also if you come usually down south, it's cheaper. If you think about Vegas, even though I think Vegas doesn't have no tax laws, whatever that, but I think Vegas is kind of busier. Even though I think town size wise, I think Orlando might be a little bigger because you have Disney World, not that far from the road. But Vegas is, I think, a little smaller in a way. It's maybe you can move around a lot easier in Vegas compared to Orlando. But I think people like the venue because it's a lot more open, and also. The senator, the governor over there is not very about the restrictions about, oh yeah, JB. Thank you, JB. Yeah, we appreciate JB here. JB, he's over at Female Bodybuilding Channel. Him and AJ, they do a great show. I'm a fan of theirs. They support my channel. I support them. I would like to get to their level someday, but I'm still a small content maker, and I appreciate whatever they do. JB is telling me that Las Vegas is more prestigious and their parties are better. Yeah, and plus, you remember the state of Nevada, prostitution is only legal in 10 counties, and Vegas is not one of them. So, Clark County, where Vegas is, you can't, But, I think, I say, if AJ agrees that the parties are better, but like I say, I think some of the ladies like it, because especially there's a lot of women who live around Texas, the women who live around like my different Tina S. Williams. She lives in Kansas City. She lives in Kansas. Kansas, she lives in Kansas, not Kansas City, Kansas. And for some others, it's a lot closer for them. There's a big to Vegas, stays in Vegas. That's true. That's what I heard. I wouldn't mind going to Vegas, but I better have some real money, and I better have some deep pockets. And, and one thing is the motels are pretty cheap. I think that's why I heard that motels are a lot reasonable in Vegas because everybody's gambling, and then there's a party lifestyle of it. But what I was saying about why some women like Orlando, there's a big bodybuilding community in Florida, like in Miami, also Tampa, Orlando, I think also some other cities. There's a big bodybuilding community in Florida. And that's why I think a lot of competitors liked having the Olympia weekend in Florida because it was a lot closer for them. You didn't have to take a plane and go to Vegas. Used to be the Olympia used to, travel here and there. You have it here and there, Mr. Olympia was kind of separate. But, back around, I think the 2000s, they decided to have it in one venue, and that was Vegas because it was a lot cheaper. Yeah, around $95 ATM per night. Thank you, JJ. You gave some information. Once I get my money right, I might take a shot at that. I was hoping that it would stay in Orlando, and maybe I would go down there. But I think I'm thinking about going to a show. I'm trying to think which one would be a lot more convenient, with my closer. I'm looking at the schedule, and I think it's like a choice between, I think maybe the Savannah, because Savannah's not that far compared to where I live. You just gotta hit a 95 and you be in Savannah before you know it. But I think I'd rather go by bus than drive. I'm not a big driver. I'm not. That's a long trip. But I think I'm thinking about, since Savannah is the 10th of September, I think that'd be a great show to go. Or maybe the Tampa. Tampa's a bigger show. A lot more people be there. I think that'd be a great show. It's a couple of days. I think I'll come in maybe right around when they do the pro part, the AM part, because you have the amateur part. You do amateurs first and then the pros. So, but maybe, like I said, September would be a good shot. I might try the North Fork. What do you think, JB? I want to ask your opinion. You're expert at traveling. You think the North Fork, or maybe the Tampa, because I know you would love to come here because, report on some of these shows, because I know you right back you And AJ had used Stephanie Fletcher as one of your correspondents at the Olympia. But, it's a lot easier for you to travel around Europe because, than it is to, but to come here in America, I don't know if you have to still do quarantine and stuff like that. But like I said, do this favor for me. If you watch this video later, if you all who follow, put in the comment section which show I should go to. Should I go to the Tampa? Should I go to Savannah? Or I can, just save up, try to, squeeze a dollar a little longer and go to the Olympia. I just want to ask you where Tampa is fans' favorite. Yeah, it's good. I might do the Tampa. Like I said, but if I get my money right, that's the thing is, I live on disability. I get so much a month, and I got to really squeeze a dollar. That's the hard part of it. I'm hoping maybe someday I get monetized and have some money to help me out. But like I said, if you feel like you want me to go to a show, give my perspective, you see that I have my Venmo, I have my Cash App, and I have my PayPal. You can make donations to my plans, and I would appreciate it. I know it's a lot. I know it's a lot to ask people, especially this time of year where, you just got off of Christmas, you're about broke. You bought that kid a bicycle and you bought your wife a new car or a diamond ring or something like that, or you bought her a gift certificate to Macy's. But I do appreciate y'all support. So this is a pretty good season. I mean, it's just up to the air about it. But the thing is, while I was talking about the predictions part is, what do you think? Yeah, I know us too. Yeah, I like JB. But what do you think how the season's going to go? What's your thoughts? I appreciate y'all coming through, people who dropping likes and subscribing and sharing this. But what do you think the season's going to be? As I'm hearing scuttlebutt that certain bodybuilders will not be competing for 2022. Also, there's some competitors who are making a return. I saw I follow some on IG. I saw Isabella Terrell. She said she's ready to come back. She just, she did a video she posted on her IG where she was working out. She was telling the story how she was listening to a song that she remembered that her mom and she was crying and I can understand that, losing your mom and just all the good memories you had with her. And I think she might do pretty good. There's not certain what show she's going to do a debut. There's some talk that she might do it in New York. Some say she might do Chicago. Somebody even say she did Omaha. I know she won in Omaha back in 2015, 2016. Then also, some of the bigger stars like, Hella Trevino. I know she did an interview with Isabel on her Fit Rock Star podcast. And Hella's thinking about retiring. And I think she might do one more season, even though she has qualifications for next year's Olympia because she took second place. And then also there's Margie V. Martin. There's talk that she might retire. She took third, so she might do one more Olympia, try a shot, and then she's done. Got to go back to work. Kudos, Joyce. Keep it up. Thanks, JB. I really appreciate it, man. I really appreciate it. I appreciate any of your support from you and AJ from the Female Bodybuilding channel. Thanks. So the question is, what's the next? Who's going to be the next big star? For the 2022 season. Like I said, you already got some shots in the dark. You have Nazis Copsero, who are on the qualification at the Romanian Muscle Fest. Mala Ash, who earned her qualification at Toronto Pro. There's still people like I think big questions about people like Alicia Young. She's going to compete. She didn't compete this year. She competed last year, and there's big talk that she was going to be, competing and earn the opportunity to compete at the Olympia. Then there's also Christina Mendoza, who did the Chicago, and I thought she was going to do at least another show and earn her qualification, but she took a step back. I'm seeing some stuff on her social media that she looks pretty pumped. She's her size is developing. When she first started in competing was I think it was 2020 and 2019 when she competed, and she competed at the Rising Phoenix, and she was part of an envoy of ladies who was announced the return of women's bodybuilding to the Olympia. There's also, Monique Jones. She took a step back this year. Is Monique coming back? It's up in there by her. People I follow, like my dear friend Tila S. Williams, she's really determined to try to make qualification for the Olympia. She is, back in 2020, she missed it by a point. Her best showing was at the Tampa when she got 6th place, and then she made a top 10 for the Savannah Pro. Then another lady who I'm quite fond of, Jada Beverly. Jada, she's determined. She wants to, she did a couple of shows. She did the Tampa and she did the Savannah. She looked great, but she made the top 10 at the Tampa and didn't make the top 10 in Savannah. Compared to some women who competed the show, Jada looked amazing. She should have been in the top 10, maybe top 5. We all know how politics is. Then people, my dear friend like Tanner Hugh, she has qualification points for the Olympia, but she needs more. I'm hoping she'll do the Vancouver show and the Toronto, which maybe if she can make the top 3 or even win the show, she can get a qualification for the Olympia. That's her goal. She wants to be in the Olympia. Jessica Martin, as I did a video a while back, that she had to drop out. She competed at the Omaha show, took second to Michaela Acott. And then she had caught the virus, which put her out for the rest of the season. I was hoping to see her compete in some shows, but the virus takes time to recover, to get your strength back. You have to really take care of yourself after you get that virus. Cool. What up? I just got a message a while ago from Jada. And she's really said. She said she really appreciated cool. Yeah. Okay, but also Sheila Olick, who I think is a great lady. I'm hoping she's also gonna get a qualification. She might do the New York Pro. She is from New Jersey, and I think New York's a lot closer for her than trying to go all the way to Chicago. So I think a lot of competitors, depending where you live at, I think what will work with some of our competitors, depending where you are in the country, you should do shows that's closer to you. People like Don Saliba lives in Tennessee. It's closer for her to do shows like to do the Linda shows in Georgia and to do the Tampa and Florida. People like Tamar McCarr, she's from England, but she lives in down south. It'll be easy to do shows like the the Savannah, the Atlanta, do the Tampa, and I think she might even do some Masters shows. Let's see who else I'm thinking of. I hope to see the pro debut of the lady who I'm become fond of, JD Savage. I hope to see her pro debut. Also, Liz Curtis make her pro debut. Another lady who would love to see we compete, maybe do some shows. She do some master shows. Maybe she can do some regular shows as Miss Marianne. I hate to say her last name without chopping it up. I don't want to be, another lady, Kira Hall, who I've become fond of. Hope she can do some shows. I know she lives in Florida, so I think she should do, Tampa. The problem is there's no women's bodybuilding show in the Linda, women's physique at any of the Linda shows. So she might do something like there's shows in North Carolina, there's shows in also, I think that there's the Mid-Atlantic show in Florida. Also, there's some shows in Texas. Texas is busy. Another lady who I'm quite fond of is also Miss Brittany, big name named Brooks. Now, there's a lot more shows for her in her backyard, Texas, because, it's just, maybe that's a great chance for her to compete. Also, she does the Ultima in New Orleans. She's competed there before. She's also worked there before. So that's a great show for her. Also, Traffic Smith. I'm thinking, I was reaching out with Stacey Nunez. And Stacey right now, she's in the military. She's in the Army. She's over in Germany. And maybe she'd do some shows overseas. She'd probably like to do some shows in the United States, but restrictions like that. Maybe by time, the spring coming around, summer's coming around, restrictions will lift and it'd be easier for her to do some shows over here. But I was contacting with her. She likes to do some shows overseas. Another lady who I did an interview with, Jody Lyons, like to see her do some shows. Really the opportunity to see her compete. Maybe I think she's also interested in doing some masters. Akima Jones, she only did the Chicago, and one thing is that I think there should be some bodybuilding shows in California. She's from California. So, she has to go out of her way to compete in shows. So she might do Chicago again. She might do the Tampa, do come to the bigger shows where you have opportunity for points and qualification. This Daphne Carter, she's been doing pretty good. She's from Haiti, so she might do the Puerto Rico Pro. She's done it before. She did the Bahamas show. Also, she might do the Tampa show. It's close to her. As you know, no longer New York is going to be in Florida, since it was held in Orlando. It's going back in New York. Also, I've been in contact with some other ladies who are going to try to make their debut. Some ladies I've heard that they're this year was their last year, and it's sad to hear, but you know what? I can understand, because so much they put into sport and not getting much back. It's hard to try to make a living. Trying to be a competitive bodybuilder. You don't, especially women bodybuilding. We don't have sponsors, and that's why I talk about this. I talk about how you should sponsor a female bodybuilder. Support their goals. And try to uplift them in this sport. They need it. They need support from us fans and followers. If you're a person who has the means, I would say, reach out to, go on your social media platform. Be serious when you're doing this. And don't be trying to look for something more out of it, especially certain things you might like, but you shouldn't be looking for it. You should just say, I want to reach out. I want to help you. I want you to achieve your goals. If you need a few bucks, if you live in an area where there's going to show be, and you say, hey, I got an extra room, you don't have to pay for a motel. You can stay here. If the show's right, if the show's close to, to where the venue is close to where you stay at, reach out and say, hey, and like I said, be courteous and don't be weird. Understand this could help somebody save a few bucks in, a room, and also if you can if you have the funds system, hey, if you want to go shopping and you need some food and stuff like that, I'm happy to help you out. Stuff like that really shows that you're a true fan. Don't be looking for anything more. Just say you do this because you want to support an athlete to gain their goals, especially to make the Olympia, being the big show. Also, to make the Rising Phoenix. Well, folks, like I said, this year is coming to an end. And it seemed like we just started, 2021. There's been a lot of stuff going around. Still, controversies, people who have left this world, people who have now come to the sport with a love and a passion for it. And I wish all the best for them. I'm just speaking as a fan, and as part of me said, I would love to do more, but what I'm doing now, I think is pretty good. Making this content, talk about these ladies, getting support. I say I'm not Jake Woods, but I try to do my best. But truthfully, I hope everybody out there who are fans of bodybuilding in general, who want to support men and women in this sport, be genuine when you do this. Understand these people go through a lot. They get ridiculed. They get, told that they're some freaks. But if you're a genuine person who says, you know what, you are an athlete. You're no different from somebody who shoots a basketball, nobody who's, who runs track, no different from any athlete, but you don't have the look of what people would usually considered, the typical idea of an elite athlete. But they are elite athletes. And sometimes they go through a lot, mentally, physically, financially. But if you can, as a person who's genuinely who's concerned, who's genuinely a fan, want to support these people, do so. Do it without, like I said, without any expectations of anything in return, just to see somebody complete their goals. But like I said, let's remember those people who are gone. Send our hearts and prayers to those, their family, who, those are the ones who have, made the ultimate sacrifice with their lives. Let's really think about what the sport of bodybuilding means to the fans. And I want y'all to really say to yourself, is this a sport that should be recognized as like any other sport? Should they have the same backing and support of the mainstream? It should, but we all know there's prejudice about this sport. It's the idea that people with muscle, you can get your muscle by you just work it out. We all know what you're doing, but the thing is, other people are doing the same thing, but it's not as noticeable compared to bodybuilding. But if you're going to point fingers at this sport, you should point fingers at all the sports. So I'm not going to hold y'all up. Like I said, I just want to give my thoughts, my ideals, and share with you who are true fans of bodybuilding. I really appreciate people who drop the likes. I like to appreciate people who subscribe. I like to appreciate anybody who comes to my channel, such as Miss Fishiana Fights, my man, the coach, Execution 23, Marcus Bell, KL, Ain't No Angel, Brooke, I forget Brooke's last name, people by my sister Jean, who came through one week, and all the other support of my channel. My channel is a small channel, and I want to be somebody who really wants to be a support of the sport of bodybuilding, as content maker. And if you subscribe and like my channel and follow my channel, I really appreciate you. I really do. I really, truly do. Because I did this a few years ago. My mom was sick. And, it's just something just to, to help with her struggles for my struggles. But then when she left, I decided that I needed something to give me a passion, give me something to look forward to. Because like I said, it's lonely. I miss my mom. She was a great lady. And, next year is going to be the second year since she's gone. But you know what? She raised me to be a strong man, to believe in what I do and what I can do. Have conviction, have faith in what I do and how I do it. And I'd like to appreciate my family who supports me, my brothers, my sisters, my nieces, my nephews, anybody who knows me. 2021 has been pretty good for me. I'm already over 600 subscribers. Maybe by 2022, I might reach 1,000. But said again, generally be a person who wants to see the sport of bodybuilding grow and evolve, and to be recognized like any other sport. But like again, guys, I'm gonna tell you my rule: no D pics. Don't do that. Don't be that freaky guy. Don't be that weird guy. Some of these women don't want to see that stuff. Don't want to see your turkey neck. No one want to see your vegan sausage. Keep that to yourself. Some of these women are great ladies. They're wives, mothers, sisters, hard workers. They're committed to this sport. And the hard part about it is the commitment they have. I wish that it was the same that come back from, the IFBB and NPC. So I'm not gonna be on here long, like I said, just talking off the cuff. And like I said, I like to shout out to all the ladies who are competing, who have competed, who's gonna compete, and to the future of promise and potential that's in the sport of bodybuilding. And like I said, thank y'all for coming through. This is my last podcast for this year. 2022 will be a new year. And I think next week my dude Jared will be here. He's really I like to forget about this. Jared, if you are out there, brother, I really appreciate you because you reached out to me. I was just doing the thing by myself, and it's great to have somebody who has the same, passion for the sport. And I really appreciate you because you are, like I said, you're the hand of the emperor. And maybe someday we get to meet, and I would love to do like Jared, if you ever get a chance, maybe we should do a show together. Maybe we go to a show, like one of these bodybuilding shows, be together and try to do like a face-to-face live stream. That'd be fun to do if I get different things up. But like I said, I would wish everybody a happy new year. I hope your Christmas was great for you. To all the ladies in sport bodybuilding, all the men in sport bodybuilding, all the people who support this sport, I want to wish you, a great upcoming new year. It's your man on the George page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk. Don't subscribe, don't subscribe. I'm out. Happy New Year and God bless.